Whoa. We up in this bish. Oh my goodness. Hey, Lizzie's here. What's up, Lizzie? Welcome. Man, it's good to see everybody. I got a new thingamabob here. A little stream starting soon. Did I write soon? Okay. For some reason I thought I wrote stream starting snow. That would be awkward. CJ the Gamer right out the gate with $2 says, "Please say my name. I want a new ringtone." CJ the Gamer. Voice sounds so clear. That's good to hear. First name, last name. That's a great username. You want to hear something interesting? Is that basically, since I've had this channel, I have used an H4n microphone, and now for the streams I was using that H4n for a while, like for my streams, but it was kind of like almost like too receptive to a certain extent, and it was difficult to, like, as I'm like, because I have like a stand-up desk, so I'm like kind of moving around a little bit, so I always kind of felt like I had to like keep close to it, otherwise like the quality of the voice kind of creates some distance there. But I got a what's it called, a lavalier mic, or a lapel mic. And I got my headphones, and I have like a book light, and like book lights you can like clip to your book, your page, your pages that you're not using, and then and it like bends around to like light up your book, and then I just like put that on the headphone, and then have I been smoking lately? I have not. No, I think I'm just haven't had enough water this morning yet. I'm Batman. But yeah, so then I clipped the lavalier mic to the edge of that book light, and it's like super jerry-rigged. It's almost pretty much like a gaming headset, but like I tried finding a gaming headset that has the quality of like a lapel mic, and it doesn't exist. It's like not, it doesn't exist. It's crazy. They need to have that quality. But Nightmare Files gave $2, says, "Much love, my guy." Thank you, Nightmare Files. It's good to see you. I hope everything's going well on your channel over yonder. I hope everybody goes and checks out Nightmare Files and shows him some love. He's a good reader. We're all good readers here. And CJ the Gamer again with the $2 says, "Follow this man's Twitter at Let's Read Creepy, 10K 2019. It would be nice to get the Twitter to 10K. I can't say my Twitter's all that much fun, but yeah, it's it'd be nice to get everybody over there, because sometimes, I mean, pretty much it's easy to update. It's a little bit harder to update Instagram because you got to have like a photo or whatever to put, and even though a lot more people seem to follow my Instagram or whatever, but yeah. Hope everything sounds good though on your guys' end. Aaron Jovian with the 20, and I gotta be honest, I have no idea what that currency is, but thank you, Aaron, for the 20 something or others. Borad the Nomad. Will you ever come back to reading creepypastas? Your favor for a favor narration was my favorite. I actually am hoping to read some creepypasta today on our live stream. So that is what we will be diving into today. Some cool ones from creepypastawiki.com. If you guys have been there, it's a pretty awesome site. A lot of people submitting different stories. A lot of good stuff there. The first one that was, the creepypasta, I guess one of the pastas of the month, is a game of tag. It's a more famous famous creepypasta that's been going around here. So, Eric Lane with the $2 says, "Hey buddy, remember me? You're my wingman." Yeah, we need to. Yeah, I don't know if Eric. I presume by now we got you a hottie with a body. So, if not, you guys know what to do. You know, gotta flood Eric's DMs. And Vupasar says, "Love your channel. Tell us a joke, would you?" Oh man. Alright. This one's pretty dark. I don't know if you guys like dark jokes. I wrote this joke recently. And I don't know if I posted it to Twitter or not. I may have. But basically, and it's still in the works. You know, comedy is one of those things you kind of have to develop over time and whatnot. Basically, I will begin the joke now. The joke begins now. What happened to the hip-hop artist that slept over at Jeffrey Dahmer's house? He got chopped and screwed. Alright, that one's like really, really dark, so probably don't want to be telling that one at any functions. First off, I hope the joke makes any sense at all, but Shane Hutchinson with the $2. Thank you, Shane. Appreciate that. No request for a joke on that one. Blue Rooster with the 5 said, "What's up, Dank Daddy? Hope all is well. The hotties can flood my DMs as well." Yeah. Yo, hotties, you know what to do. Hit up Blue Rooster, Eric. Flood them. SUB straight up beasting with the 2 says, "I listen to your vids when I'm at the gym. Love it." That's awesome. It's really exciting. It's cool to hear what different stuff people do while they're you know, chilling to the videos and stuff like that. I love that people are able to, I don't know, just go do different things, because that's kind of what I do with various like podcasts and stuff, is I just throw it on while I go do something. Don't flood my DMs. CJ the Gamer with $2 says, "Don't flood my DMs. I don't have life jackets." That's good. Now that's a joke. Potato Plant has, that's pretty funny. Says some people masturbate while listening. Well, that's good to know. You know, gotta multitask. Would you do, Yosa says with $2 says, "Would you do LGBT themed true scary stories?" I definitely could. Just need to come across some of those. Quite a few more of them. So if you guys have them, you know what to do. Send them into. Got it listed there on. Got it listed on the. Well, actually, I have to transition over here. Let's see if I know what I'm doing. Boom. Now the stream is officially started. But yeah, you can submit your stories to reddit.com/r/let's read official. Avoid the rest of Reddit. Just hang out at mine. It's a safe haven. Also, I got my mic here, so I'm gonna try to drink some tea. Let me know if I bank against the the mic. Fennekin's Art. Shout out, Let's Read. It's cold, raining here in Tampa, Florida. Dang. That is nice, though. At least you got some rain. It stinks that it's cold. I'm sorry. Hopefully Florida's not as crazy as the internet makes it out to be. Did I bank the mic? Straight up farmed it, bro. Also, we are going to transition our music here over to Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. My man, he makes a ton, he's very prolific, makes a ton of dark ambient stuff, and I love it. He is open to promoting his music on various narration channels, videos, and, copyright free and all that good stuff. But, if you enjoy, some dark ambient kind of things and want to check it out, be sure to head over to his channel. I got the link in the description there. It's kind of low key, to say the least. High Life Swag with the 25 says, Ayo. Ayo, High Life, what's going on? Thank you so much for the 25. Pinky Lee with the 10. I got my son addicted to you in the Dark Somnium. We love to listen to your stories together. That's amazing. Thank you for that. Passing it down to generations there. The Dark Somnia, if you guys haven't checked out his channel, it's pretty amazing as well. He's a very talented, not only narrator, but he's a very talented musician. Like, some of the stuff I listen to on his music channel, which should be linked through his normal channel, is just fantastic. He's really solid. He's a really nice guy too. He streams once in a while doing his music creations and some of his narrations. CJ the Gamer with $2 says, I think Reddit is down. Oh my gosh. Honestly, that is a possibility, because I had the person who's a mod in here, Spooky Whispers. She's got a great ASMR channel. She mods my Discord mods in here as well for the live streams, and also goes on to Reddit to kind of contact individuals about wanting to use their stories from the various subreddits like Let's Not Meet and Paranormal. And she was showing me that when she was trying to get into her, mailbox or inbox or whatever on Reddit to see the various people that would say, yes, you can use the story and whatnot, that Reddit was down. So that confirms it. It's official. Jessica Di Cataldo with the $10. Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that. Well, guys, I'm sure you're probably sick of me rambling and bambling about nothing here. I hope the background music isn't too loud for you. We are going to jump into the first story of the night. Excuse me. Probably get a lot of burping here also. This one's called A Game of Tag. So if you guys want to follow along on the Creepypasta wiki, some people are kind of into that. Elizabeth Dellinger with $5 says, sick and need this today, true ghost please. Oh yeah, that's a good, yeah. Actually, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to keep up with all the donors. I guess I'm just going to have to doodle-doo. Thank you, Elizabeth. Venikins with 2 says, nope, Florida Man is real and pretty much everything else. That's good to know. I saw a terrifying video earlier where this golfer, an old man, probably in his 70s, 80s or something like that, is they're trying to get rid of an alligator that's in some sort of water ditch that's in their yard or golf course or whatever, and he throws his jacket over top of the eyes of the gator. And I don't know what the plan was. You put a blanket over its head or something like that, and then now it can't see, so it's just not going. It's like an ostrich or something, and goes limp or whatever. But anyways, he goes to grab its tail, and it like freaks out and obviously whips around and just like bites into his leg. And I was like, oh my god, I'm about to witness this dude get like death rolled. And thankfully it just like bit his leg and like kind of, pulled away. But oh my god, it would be terrible to get bitten by like a big old alligator. My god. All right. Oh yeah, Just Her Author says, what's his podcast called? So my podcast is called aptly the Let's Read podcast, and you can find that on iTunes and Spotify by just typing that into your your podcast app on iTunes, or going onto Spotify there. And basically it's just kind of compilations of my narrations that I normally have throughout the week on this channel. And yeah, Shane Hudson with the 2 says, shout out to my son Ollie, please. Ollie, what's going on? You got a good parent. Oh yeah, Lizzie linked the podcast there. There's Apple and Spotify, and you can find those in the description below. So I'm gonna kick off this story. In 2017, a certain video appeared on YouTube. The phone recording presented a busy intersection in a rather large city, probably in the United States. The circumstances indicated the situation took place during rush hours on March or April, as people were wearing light coats and some snow was still visible along with blooming trees and grass. The recording starts with screaming. You can hear distant cries. Few people are seen running, and even from a distance it is clearly a panic rush, with lots of scuffling and pushing aside. There is a sense of confusion and uncertainty in the air. Among the obscure noises, one clear "what's going on" can be heard. The video is good quality but shaky as the person holding the phone is trying to get closer to the commotion. Around the 10th second, the chaos starts spreading. Pedestrians are now moving faster and more people are running. If it wasn't for the crowd on the crossing, some would definitely have gotten hit by a car as they are reckless and focused on getting as far as they can. The faint sound of police sirens can be heard at the moment. The phone user is more or less 40 feet away from the center of the ruckus, getting a nice panorama shot. But 2 seconds later, there is a scream somewhere very close. Mass hysteria ensues. Wait, what's W mean? Let's get some W's. Oh, maybe that means win. Yeah, let's get some wins. Okay, nice. W equal win. Oh, that's the garage door if you can hear that down below. Alright, around the 10th second the chaos starts spreading. When the pedestrians are now moving faster and more people are running. If it wasn't for the crowd on the crossing, some would definitely have gotten hit by a car as they are reckless and focused on getting as far as they can. 2 seconds later, there is a scream somewhere very close. Mass hysteria ensues. When the timer hits 19 seconds, a girl in a green hoodie emerges from the right corner of the screen. She is unnoticed by the camera person. The crowd is thinner where she appeared, and she easily navigates among the pedestrians. You can see she is somewhere around her early 20s, has long black hair that covers her face, and seems less distracted than anybody else, holding her hands in her pocket and hunching as if having back problems. People are now running around. When she gets closer to the center, a 50-something man in a wool jumper turns in her direction. He says something muffled, and the subtitles below read, "Do you know what's going on?" Before any of the viewers start wondering why this random voice is subtitled, as nothing else is, the girl says something in response, and then releases her hand from her pocket and touches the man's shoulder. Yo, sir, with the $2 says, "Who are you going for in the Super Bowl?" That's a tough one. Honestly, it's I mean, I'm not surprised that the Patriots are back in it. I guess I would have enjoyed to see Patrick Mahomes as a rookie make it to the Super Bowl, possibly get, obviously get most valuable player. I'm excited to see the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, this is their first year in Los Angeles. The LA teams are freaking, killing it. Kind of unfair that they get two. But yeah, I mean, I definitely, obviously, at this point, it's like New England's been there how many times? I mean, I used to hate the Patriots. I still kind of do. But at the same time, it's like, you gotta respect greatness. It's like, how many times do they have to get there before it's just, statistically, it's no coincidence, who the best is. And, I can't disrespect someone for being amazing at it. And what's his name? Freaking Tom Brady, holy crap, in his 40s, And, I saw a funny meme where it was like, when they won against, Mahomes and the Chiefs, it was like, Tom Brady's going to rage eat an extra almond tonight. It was pretty funny. But yeah, I hope the Rams win, just because it's like, I don't know, it's impressive just to see how well they've done in such a short period of time. Oh, Patrick Mahomes isn't a rookie? Oh, okay. Well, I'm an idiot then. Sorry. I don't know. I do follow the NFL to a certain extent, but definitely I get caught up on all the stuff. I feel like a year or two passes in like an instant anymore. People talk about like, oh, back in the day in 2017, and I'm like, Jesus, I thought we just got to 2018. Now it's 2019. Feels like the future. It honestly feels like the future. It's weird. Okay, sorry. Good question though. I missed Heartless's donation with $2. Thank you, Heartless. I appreciate that. But yeah, don't get me talking about football. Just maybe go for about the length of time I went for. Anyways, the camera notices the sudden movement in the corner and zooms at the scene where the man starts twitching frantically, as if having a seizure. Something happens to his face as it starts getting red and blistering. 3 seconds later, and the phone owner cries. It's a guy. Oh my fucking god, oh fuck, oh fuck, as the man falls to the ground with an unnaturally swollen chest. The nearby passerbys watch this in fear, only to start screaming and running away. The crowd, now knowing the source of the panic, began spreading, a vast wave of bodies that flooded the street, stopping vehicles. Some people run past the camera person. The phone catches glimpses of their horrified faces. We can also start noticing other phones recording the commotion. The police arrives. Their flickering lights appear somewhere in the corner. The girl is now in focus. She walks towards another person and touches them. It's a teenage boy who makes choking gestures and starts bleeding from his mouth as his chest bloats to giant proportions. 2 other boys, probably his friends, scream and try to run away, but one is snatched by the girl. He stumbles onto the ground, red and choking blood. The other one cries so loud it can be heard above the noise. Someone, a young woman in the general confusion, bumps into the girl. She falls to the ground, not moving. The girl then proceeds to leap towards every person she is able to. She touches them, and each one ends up the same way. After touching about 4 more people for a brief second, she looks in the direction of the camera, grinning widely. The video is 1 minute 4 seconds long and has over 6 million views. The comment section consists mostly of WTF and is this real, but many were not really convinced. Some shouted it was fake. There were a few who believed it was one of those pranks used to promote new horror movies, and in a very bad taste, they added. Trolls were joking they would bang her either way. Zucker Schnecky, what's up, Zucker with the $5 says, gotta go, could you blow me a little kiss? I can do that for you. Wherever you're going, I hope that kiss abides with you well. The video is 1 minute 4 seconds. This was the most popular video of the happening. Overall, there were over 15 original recordings, all shot from different angles and moments. After the incident, the girl in the green hoodie was nowhere to be found. The event received media coverage all over the world, but the fact that people died after being touched was barely mentioned. Most news reports described it as a biological attack organized by terrorists, and that the girl in the green hoodie was using either some kind of gas or syringe filled with toxic chemicals. This blatant lie wasn't overlooked by the internet, as millions of commenters shouted that no gas nor syringe was present during the event, and witnesses actually saw that a simple touch would turn a person into a blood-choking red mess. The media, however, refused to accept this explanation and turned a blind eye towards the accusations. No real explanation was given to the deaths as well. According to medical authorities, the victims had been dead before any help arrived. For a few days, only a range of symptoms were presented to the public: skin lesions, obstruction of the lungs, eye inflammations, etc., as the official cause of death was still unknown. However, 2 days after the incident, a post was published on an anonymous message board. The creator claimed to be one of the morgue attendants that were examining the bodies. He or she felt obliged to tell the truth about the condition of the bodies, but was shut down by their supervisor in order not to spread panic. They explained that the cause of death was asphyxiation caused by severe pulmonary injuries, which explained the bleeding and swollen chests. OP expressed their shock as they have never seen such an amount of damage caused in such a short time. They also added that the victims were exposed to aflatoxins. Aflatoxins? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Aflatoxins are cancerous chemicals often found in corn, walnuts, or peanuts, to name a few, that, especially when improperly stored, can lead to liver cancer and other horrible things such as hemorrhage. According to OP, the amount of aflatoxins in the body was 20 times larger than a normal instances of aflatoxin. Oh yeah, I guess afla sounds more normal. Aflatoxin poisoning, which caused severe damage to their livers. The list of symptoms goes on: throat injuries, internal bleeding, dermatitis, sore and bloodshot eyes, etc., developed to a very serious degree. Aflatoxins. The bleeding. The effects are similar to being exposed to black mold for a prolonged period of time, wrote the anonymous user, and never responded to any of the comments. Although people were skeptic, the post gained a lot of attention. Heartless with the $2 says, "Yo, your laugh is precious. Thank you. I appreciate that." For a few months, YouTube became flooded with reaction videos and theories. Conspiracy theories believe the girl in the green hoodie was a governmental experiment gone wrong, a real-life SCP, or even pestilence, one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The girl even gained her own cult following, becoming an internet meme. She was dubbed Rosie, in reference to Ring Around the Rosie, as it was a nursery rhyme about the Black Death. But this was not the first time Rosie appeared on the internet. In 2011, a YouTube video appeared with a title written in Japanese, which could be Google translated as "Death on the Streets, Japan, Weird Girl Found," depicting an intersection and suburban area seen from a 3rd-floor balcony. People are running away and screaming. The camera is focused on the girl in the green hoodie in the middle of the street, monitoring the surrounding chaos. She keeps her hands in her pockets, and this time her face is hidden under the hood. Around her lies bodies like a macabre version of petals surrounding a flower bud. You can hear the camera person talking with someone next to them. Their voices are pitched to an almost chipmunk-like squeak, but unless you know Japanese, you can't make out what they are saying. After almost 2 minutes of footage, Rosie leaves the scene before the police arrives. At the time, people believed it was fake, as there was never any media coverage of the event. No one knew where it had taken place nor who recorded it. However, after the incident in 2017, I, the person who remembered the Japanese video, decided to create a subreddit about it. Blue Rooster, $2. How much for a face reveal? That is a tough price to place on something so hideous and disgusting that you would die. You would suffer a worse death than Rosie to gaze upon the mug of this man. Truly, truly, I say to you. Mini Bear with $5 says, "I won't buy Velcro. It's a ripoff." That's actually good. I have not heard that before, but that's awesome. Probably better than my gross Jeffrey Dahmer joke I told. At the time, people believed it was fake, as there was never any media coverage of the event. No one knew where it had taken place nor who recorded it. However, after the incident in 2017, I, the person who remembered it, created a subreddit about it. I first encountered the green hoodie girl aka Rosie video yesterday and couldn't shake off the feeling of deja vu. I searched my old YouTube playlists and found an old Japanese video from 2011, link below. I'm certain this is the same girl even though you can't see her face. The hoodie is the same. I want to know if these are related somehow. Does anybody have any information concerning any of the videos? Has someone ever seen this girl before? What does lol mean? The first response appeared 2 days later. When I first saw that video, I was freaked out because I had a very similar experience 2 or 3 years ago. I was sitting on a bench in a park. There was not many people and walking, jogging, etc. I was on my phone waiting for a friend, but when I raised my head, I noticed a girl in a green hoodie. She bypassed me without any interest, and I can only remember her because she had a big smile on her face, which I thought was cute at the time. After that, I stopped paying attention, but a few minutes later, I heard a scream. I ran to see what happened, and I found an older guy laying on the ground with a really sad face and a swollen chest. I thought he choked on something, so I called 911. It took them some time to get there. Besides, I was scared right out of my mind at the time, so I can't remember if the girl was even there. But seeing all the bodies on the video reminded me of that guy, and the girl that passed me by with a smile on her face. If this is the same girl, I think I'll go mad. She would have touched me if she wanted to. Eric Lane with $2 says, You, voice, me, looks, let's conquer the world. Oh, your voice and me, looks, let's conquer the world. Yeah, I like that combination. That's a good... Sorry, it took me a second there. Let's freaking do it, Eric. We're taking people on left and right. Honestly, we're taking on T-Series. That's who we're coming for. PewDiePie is all concerned about getting usurped by T-Series. Well, hey, what, Pewds? Did you forget about me? Did you forget about me, bro? Okay. Okay. We're right behind you, man. We coming. The post gained a lot of replies, but one was more interesting than the others. The user shared a blurry photo of 2 dead horses near a fence, their barrels swollen with patches of red skin in between the fur. They were positioned in a way that you couldn't see their faces, but I could imagine their eyes were bloodshot. The user wrote, I live in a family farm in the outskirts of France, where we breed horses. Over 5 years ago, we found 2 of our mares dead just like this. We thought it was some wild animal as we lived close to a forest, but there were no bite or claw wounds. We called a vet, they did an autopsy and claimed the horses had a severe case of mold poisoning and we should check our stables as quick as possible. Our stables are well maintained, but we checked every nook and cranny just in case. Not even a speck of mold. Besides, there were several other horses in the paddock, healthy and unharmed. For years I believed the 2 dead ones had to eat something toxic until I saw the video on YouTube with Rosie, the green-hooded girl. I couldn't believe my eyes because the victims had the same symptoms as our mares back then. Then I found the post of that autopsy technician who described the cause of death, asphyxiation from severe black mold exposure. Fucking mold exposure. I don't know if she killed my horses, but the symptoms were exactly the same. There was a path next to the paddock, right near the fence where our horses were found. Maya Jaren, greetings from Norway, love your voice. Thank you, Maya. Hope everything's going good in Norway for you. It's like one of those, well, being in the States, that's like one of those like countries where you just presume that giants and dragons probably still exist, and I assume that's something you have to go through every day, and I'm sorry that you do, but that also sounds really cool. People were horrified after seeing the photo. You can kill a man and no one bats an eye, but animal cruelty is fortunately less tolerated on the internet. Many hypotheses appeared before someone posted another video. He wrote an introduction in broken English, but I managed to make out the general sense. Apparently OP used to work at a bar, and some night while on shift he heard screams and gunshots coming from outside. He was too scared to check, as it was a really nasty neighborhood, and after about 10 minutes everything went silent. The next day he and his boss checked the video surveillance. I watched the footage he uploaded. In the dim glow of the entrance lighting, 2 men ran through the street. One disappeared from the shot, but the other one was quickly snatched by someone whose face was hidden under a hoodie. The captured man twitched erratically before falling on the ground motionless, and the hooded figure quickly followed the one who escaped. It was dark. The footage had a very low frame rate and was really bad quality, but many agreed, me included, that the attacker was rather short for a man, didn't use any weapons, and was wearing something resembling a zip-front sweatshirt of an uncertain color. What really bothered me was the mentions of gunshots. As it was a CCTV footage, no sounds were recorded, but if someone was shooting, Rosie, if it really was Rosie, didn't seem to be affected in any way. Wow, everybody's from so many different crazy places. This is cool. Someone all the way from South Africa. Like, that's so amazing to me that YouTube can, I don't know, just connect people from all over the world. It's such a modern day phenomenon. It's wild. Jesus. Some of the comments that get hidden are pretty funny, and I can't say them out loud. Sorry. Over the span of a few months, my subreddit has grown over 3 times in size. People shared their own experiences and posted photos and videos they found. There were a few who decided to make YouTube documentaries about Rosie based on all the uploaded material. And there was a lot to find. We received video recordings from airports, stores, or streets all over the world. Nuka, you're from PA. Boring, just boring old Pennsylvania. That's funny, because that's exactly where I'm from as well. Boring old Pennsylvania. And there was a lot to find. We received video recordings from airports, stores, or streets all over the world. The number of photos depicting dead, swollen bodies was remarkable. Some people claimed to spot Rosie, even taking pictures inconspicuously, but in most cases there were a false alarm or faked. Oh, Shane. Yeah, my first name is Joel. 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 Theories started popping up like mad. Even Rosie's popularity grew as she received a lot of fan art, very often disturbing in more ways than one. I think she is misunderstood. Maybe that smile is fake and she is really suffering. I want to help her, one of the users wrote and received a quick reply. You're a fucking idiot, you know that? Yeah, Pennsylvania. Oh, Sean says, are you still a nurse? I was a nurse for the past 5 years at a hospital in my local area. And, quick backstory about me, I guess, is that, sorry to keep dipping away from the stories, but I like talking to you guys. It's fun. A mercenary. Pennsylvania is the worst slutty place. Absolutely. That's where all the sluts are born right here, me included. Sorry. Anyways, so I was a nurse for the past 5 years at a hospital. Hi, kitty. What are you doing? So I started working at my hospital in like 2013. And in 2014, I just kind of wanted, something like a creative outlet, because I've always kind of been, oh, shoot. My cat just, I have a bag full of, change all my loose change I just like have in like a bag, and my cat just like slipped on it and fell off the desk. That was kind of funny. He's okay though. Cat's got 20 lives, right? Hey Kept, it says, bro, someone is writing all this down and I'm concerned. Please don't kill me, guys. Please, please have mercy on my soul. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, so 2014 started my YouTube channel. You can, yeah, I believe you can see the start date there, and yeah, so started the YouTube channel, and you know, in about probably the past 2 years, the cat, I'm like looking at chat. The channel really started to take off, and obviously thanks to you guys sharing videos and watching them and all that amazing stuff, and just you know, it's gone through a lot of ups and downs and that kind of thing. And yeah, it's yeah, it became my main thing now, you know, and honestly, and I just have you guys to thank for that, you know what I mean? I really can't thank you guys enough for being so supportive, being so positive. Like, I'm really just happy to, you know, a lot of people say that my voice and the voice of the channel and that kind of stuff is just like a daily part of their life. And, yeah, you know, I'm now I don't work as a nurse anymore. It wasn't my thing. I mean, I was always happy to help people when I was there. I was happy to, you know, make friends at my job and stuff. But when you have an opportunity to go a different direction, and it brings you so much, like this channel brings me so much joy to be able to do and interact with you guys and just have a great time. It's like a once in a lifetime kind of thing. And I literally can't say thank you enough. And this is my life now, you know, and my thought is, like, if it goes to poop, you know what I mean? If everything goes to poop, I would say that it was worth it, and maybe at that point I'll do some sort of drastic maneuver to, I don't know, move somewhere to do voice acting, wherever that might be. I don't know, but I mean, yeah, thank you guys. Venikins, thank you for the $2. She says, shout out to my sister-in-law, Renee. Hi, Renee. What's poppin'? I believe that's how you pronounce that. Cassie Black with the $2 says, hi, please say hi, Cassie, if you read this. Hi, Cassie. Oh yeah, can you see my cat? If you dig through yeah, I mean, I wonder if you guys join the Discord, we have like a selfies thing where we post, everybody posts pictures of themselves. Like, I think I'll have to post a picture of my cat in there. It's kind of become like a place where people just post pictures of their cats. Discord, yes. Yeah, Discord is basically like Skype, but it's kind of like a big chat room. And sometimes we'll get into general chat and everybody just kind of like has a nice little hangout. But what really shook me was a photo that was posted about 5 months after I created my subreddit. The user described it only in one sentence. I didn't make it. The photo represented Rosie from behind, without her hood on, her hair hanging from her shoulder as she was leaning against a brick wall. At her feet lay a boy, maybe 8 or 9 years old, probably of Middle Eastern descent. He was curling up, as if trying to hide inside himself, and was looking at Rosie with sheer terror in his eyes, his face red from crying. There was no background story to this. No one could recognize the place nor the boy. People who clearly didn't read the post started accusing the one who posted it for just staying there and taking pictures, and were reminded to read descriptions first. The photo stayed in my mind for a long time. The boy's face haunts me to this day. I quickly connected the dots and began my own investigation. I started posting videos of me trying to solve the mystery of Rosie. I tried to dig information about her real name, origins, and possible relatives, but to no avail. I contacted police departments in countries Rosie was reported in. Despite evidence I presented, she was never caught or even seen. In a Skype interview with a police officer who witnessed a 2017 incident, he said, "We kept hearing about a girl in a green hoodie, but we never found such a person. No personal information, no address, nothing. We sent police notice all around the country. Whoever she was, she disappeared without a trace." Despite my best efforts, I wasn't able to find anything. It seemed as if Rosie came from nowhere and could appear and disappear whenever and wherever she pleases. Sometimes when I check all the evidence, I start doubting myself. Blurred photos, easily manipulated and staged videos, accounts of people that might be lying or simply gullible. I might be up to something, but maybe it is all a wild goose chase and I need to stop believing in everything I see on the internet. But I can't stop worrying. All the videos and written accounts of other people describe locations that were remote or barely inhabited. The 2017 video was actually the first time Rosie was seen in a more crowded, populated space. Can you please read the instructions to the Pacergram fitness test? Is that what is that about? What is that about? What is it about? Oh, Unfurled Adam. I did not figure out how to make you mod. Maybe Lizzie. I don't know if Lizzie can make you mod at this point. I didn't even get a chance to look into that, but I'm sure it's probably just as easy as typing in a username or something like that. Can I do Mike Tyson's voice? I've been watching a lot of Mike Tyson's videos lately, and it just seems like he just is like such a beast, you know what I mean? He was like 20 years old when he became like the heavyweight champion of the world, and it's pretty sick. I mean, he just like, he comes out of nowhere with like a left hook and just like destroys people. He's a freaking monster. He's out of this world. He's insane. Can I do an English accent? I could try. It probably sounds like crap. Bite your ear off. I'm gonna bite your ear. Tastes so good. I just want a buffet of ears. Mike Tyson is insane though. Like, I mean, he might be mentally insane, but like if you watch, I've actually been watching. It's funny you say that because I've been watching a lot of like Mike Tyson boxing videos and stuff, and he's just like such a condensed piece of like explosive muscle. It's just like, oh my god, it's terrifying. I literally would never want to be in a ring with him. Even today when he's like, I don't know, I don't even know how old he is, 50s maybe, 60. Ashley T says, no requests today, much love. Thank you, Ashley, appreciate it. Alright, so a game of tag. Actually don't, oh, I guess like getting touched by that girl, that's why it's called that. Can I do impressions? I'm not like the best at impressions. I mean, there's some that I can do. Like when we do like a UK accent, like I really enjoy Lazy Masquerade's voice. And maybe I can read it in his voice a little bit here. But I know that, oh wait, what am I doing? Hallel's Nativity in Black Christmas oh, it's a contest, okay. Totally clicked on the wrong thing. Alright. So. I'm gonna read The Moth. I'm gonna do an Australian accent. It's not very, oh god. It's just like, honestly, so many accents just meld into another one. Another one. Right into another one. Maybe they took this down. Let's see if Reddit's back up and then I can read that story for Elizabeth. Come on, Reddit. Come on, Reddit. Oh, yeah, it's back up. Sweet. Okay. Do. Dalbro says, I have a few of the glitch stories. Has anybody had any real life glitch in the Matrix stories? That stuff is always pretty fascinating to me. How long did it take practice to be able to read out loud as great as you do? You know, I guess about as long as the channel just has existed. It's just like every day is, you know, that I work on, that I make a video or whatever, is just more practice, you know? And, I don't know, it's actually, I find it easier to do it during the live streams, just because I don't have to worry. Like, I sometimes when I'm, you know, doing my recordings, and I know that whenever I mess up, I know that it has to be perfect or whatever. So if I make any sort of like mild errors, or as I'm going, I start to get anxious that I'm going to make errors. Like I just get like I psych myself out and end up, you know, messing up. It'd be fun. I do want to make a like a compilation of all the mess ups and stuff that I have, but it's kind of like it's kind of hard to like efficiently do that, I guess, while also trying to get the stories out on time and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, it's nice when I do it live, because if I make like any sort of little mishap, it's like not quite as noticed, whereas if I do it in one of my, like, you know, quote unquote professional videos, like an official video, like someone's probably going to call that out, and it doesn't, you know, feel quite as perfect, I guess. How did I get into reading stories? Yeah, you know, it was like when I started my nursing job, and then a year later, you know, I've been working there for a while or whatever, and really wanted to make a YouTube channel, because my roommates did some YouTube channels and stuff, and theirs was based around comedy, and I wanted to make one that like was different, because there was so much of the gaming stuff, so much of the other random nonsense, and I had no idea. RDNL with the two says Latino. I don't even know what a Latino accent even sounds like. I feel like there's a few girls that go to my gym that have like Latino. Well, actually they're from various countries, but they all speak Spanish to one another. But I think only one of them is actually from like the Latino area. You know, I immediately noticed when I moved in that the guy below me was the opposite of a considerate neighbor. No, I guess that's gonna. I'm sorry. We're just gonna avoid that at all. Actually, that's terrible. God. Anyways, yeah. So working on the channel, and I wanted to do something different, so I did the reading, and then all of a sudden stumbled across the creepypasta community. I was like, oh my God, there is so many people that read, and I saw that they had a lot of success reading creepypastas, like Mr. Creepypasta and Creeps McPasta. Like, they were so established. Like, at the time that I came across them, they had like 700,000 subscribers and stuff like that. And I was just like, I really, you know, at that point I kind of wanted to be them. And then do I have an announcer voice? This previously got removed for fictional posting, so I just want to clarify that this is a true experience. So I'm extremely skeptical about the paranormal, but this experience kind of blew my mind, so I thought I'd share it. I used to live in a building that had 8 separate flats in it. I didn't interact much with the other people in the building except for the guy who lived next door to me. One of the nicest guys I've ever met, and the guy who lived directly below me. What's the highest voice I can do non-cringe? Oh yeah, I guess I did. You were saying about that Lilo and Stitch voice.
I immediately noticed when I moved in that the guy below me was the honest opposite of a considerate neighbor. He blasted his music at all hours of the night, sometimes for 24 hours straight. Honestly, though, I couldn't sleep during a hot.
I start to lose it after a while. It's pretty terrible. I like that question. Do I believe in aliens? Honestly, yeah. I think. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I mean, we presumably live in a big universe. Heartless with the 2. I listen to your vids while I draw. Thank you. That's awesome. I like that. My voice is able to kind of like help people hone into whatever kind of like activity they're doing that they're getting lost in, whether it's drawing or cleaning. People do it while cleaning and that kind of thing. Breath of the Wild, yeah. Playing games. Meditation, yeah. Listen to me while meditating. Maybe. Yeah. The thing about, so you asked, do I believe in multiverse scenarios? Honestly, it's weird because it's like, I've seen a lot of like where people say science says that there's 12 different universes and things like, or 12 different dimensionalities and stuff, and I guess I haven't really looked into, like, when I see those articles, I'm like, wait, okay, maybe I should read this article, maybe I should see why they think this, and all that kind of stuff. Leanne with the 5 says, catch up with you later while I'm at work. All right, Leanne, I hope you have a good shift or good work time. But it's like, sometimes I feel like memes are very Oh, Brianna said, you also soothe babies. My girl is finally down for a nap. That's amazing. See, that's a skill that I can get down with. If I can help a baby fall asleep, that's pretty good. Because we all parents need a little reprieve. Is it GIFs or GIFs? Apparently, it's GIFs with it's a J sounding thing, but I'm gonna say GIFs till the day I die because I don't care. That's what I learned. Have you ever had a paranormal or alien experience? Thank you, Allison, for the 2. I've had some sleep paralysis type activities, and that, and just like sort of like a sense of like a dark presence in your room as you start to experience like the sleep paralysis, and it only really goes away like as you pray or kind of thing, but beyond that, all right, guys, do you want to hear actually a weird story experience I have that may make you think I'm crazy, which is fine. I guess we're all a little bit nuts. All right, so I've grown up as a Christian. That might make a lot of people like cringe and whatnot, but hey, everybody's got their thing. We're moving on. So in college, I was probably maybe 20, and I parked at this sort of like remote parking area that is where my buddy dad owned a dental area and a dental office, and I would park there at off hours or whatever to then walk to my job as a door guy at a bar. And I get out of my car, start to walk. It's probably like, I don't know what time of year it is. It's like maybe summertime going into fall or whatever. And there's a dead butterfly on the ground. And so the butterfly, you may have seen these before, like, or a dead bug or whatever. Like when it dies, it's just sort of like is crumpled up. It's dry. It's like a leaf, like an old leaf or something like that. And, you know, I go up to this butterfly and I'm looking at it and I'm kind of like, it was just such an oddity to me that it was like in my walking path and just like a dead monarch butterfly, like the orange ones just laying there. And I'm like, what, this is weird. So I had a little bit of time. So I like lean down to it or whatever and just kind of like flick it with my finger to see if it was just like sleeping. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, just the childlike curiosity to peek at it or whatever. And it's all, you know, at this point, it's all like dried up and hard and it's like not alive at all, clearly. And I don't know what weird idea came into my head, but I was just like, maybe I could pray for this dead butterfly. Like that's, you know, that's just a random thought that popped into my head or whatever. And so I just like crouched down over top of it and put my hand kind of like almost like levitating over top of the butterfly. And I was just like, Jesus, if you know, will this butterfly to live again, I just pray that in your name that you would do so. And I just kind of like, had my eyes closed, crouched down, like had my hand over it, and nothing happened. And and that's why I'm saying this story is going to make you probably think I'm a crazy person, and that's totally fine. And I absolutely believe that you should call me that, because that's understandable, absolutely. And nothing happened. So I get up to begin to walk away or whatever, and like as I begin to get up to walk away and kind of turn my head, like out of the corner of my eye, like I see like movement. And as I turn back around, I see this butterfly's like crumpled up body begin to like, you know, slowly pulsate, in the sense of like its wings are sort of like fluttering, like beginning to flutter like back and forth, to the point where eventually it like quite literally gets up and then like flies away. And I don't like, that's like, I'm a witch. You're a witch, Joel. I might be. I don't know. But it's one of those experiences in life that are it's such a strange phenomena that like I can't, to go like, then I went to my I went to my like bar job after that, you know what I mean? And I'm like in this place where everyone's getting wasted or whatever, and I'm just sitting at the door, sitting there staring into space, like wondering to myself, what the crap did I just see? And yeah, I don't know. Life is weird, and it's, take it as you may, you know. How do you feel about the blood moon and the stars that showed up? There's been a lot of like really weird astrological events that have occurred in the past quite a few years that I feel like it almost happens like every couple months. They're like, this thing that's not going to happen for another 33,000 years is occurring this week. Also, there's another one that's occurring next week too. Oh, also be prepared for the one after that. So I don't know like what any of it means. Oh, astronomical. Okay, yes, sorry. Thank you, Shane. I was thinking I probably said that wrong there. Probably a difference between astronomy and astrology, I'm sure. Yeah, I briefly got to see the blood moon the other night because it was a nice clear night, and it was awesome. Didn't get a picture because I don't have like any of that kind of stuff, but yeah, and I don't know what any of it means. It's pretty cool. There was a girl in my Discord who posted a picture of the blood moons where there was like weird little points of light, stars you could call them or whatever, that were like hovering around the moon, like, you know, visible, and like 3 of them, and who knows, you know what I mean? Like I have no idea what that could be. It's very odd that they would show up at that time. Jamie Green with the 2 says, love your videos. Could you do a Craigslist? I think we could probably handle that. Oh, Little Biscuit. I am that girl in your Discord. Hi, Little Biscuit. Yeah, that was a really cool. That was a really cool thing to see, and then seeing other people mentioning it here too is pretty wild. So, adds some sort of validity to the craziness of it. That's nuts. Okay. So I'm gonna. This one is for Elizabeth here. I get kind of sorry about that, guys. I get caught up kind of like chatting about really anything. I gotta lubricate the lips here more. Also, pro tip: if you're narrating, it's a lot easier when your lips are lubed. Just makes the flow of everything. Yeah, chapstick. I use the stuff called Aquifer. It's like it's almost like a Vaseline of sorts, but you use you use normal chapstick or whatever, like Burt's Bees, and I just feel like it dries out in like half a second. But like stuff that has like a Vaseline base, I don't know, composition. It just seems to stay moisturized way longer. Alright, I'll tell about my sleep paralysis story after this Ouija board. After this Ouija board story real quick. I'm going to full send it. I'm going to full send this story. I used to live in a building that had 8 separate flats in it. I didn't interact much with other people in the building except for the guy who lived next door to me. One of the nicest guys I've ever met, and the guy who lived directly below me. I immediately noticed when I moved in that the guy below me was the opposite of a considerate neighbor. He blasted music at all hours of the night, sometimes for 24 hours straight. Honestly, though, I could sleep through a hurricane, and it generally didn't bother me that much, except for the fact that it was super rude. Anyway, I opted to keep the peace and not mention it. The guy who lived next door to me, Gary, approached me one day asking if I was okay about the guy below me playing his music so loud, because even Gary could hear it in his flat. I told him I wasn't too bothered by it, and Gary said he was relieved because he didn't want me confronting the guy on my own. I'm a 20-year-old girl, and Gary was about 50, so I think he was just looking out for me. I asked, and he said that he'd met the guy years beforehand through work, and he'd introduced himself as John. But then he moved into the flat. He introduced himself as Wes. Gary had gone back to one of the other guys who worked with him to double check, and he said he'd switch between the 2 personalities regularly, so he obviously had some form of personality disorder. I'm hardly an expert on stuff like that, but I'd hear Wes, that's the name of my boyfriend and I ended up using to refer to him, yelling quite a lot, and I wondered if maybe he played the music to drown voices out or something. I might be way off the mark. Like I said, I'm not an expert. One day I find a note taped to my door. Stop your constant banging, I can't sleep. You can tell from the handwriting that it had been scrawled in a fury. Now, I was at work 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and when I got home I pretty much sat on my sofa all night. Obviously I made tea and went to bed too, but I definitely wasn't constantly banging. Anyways, Wes took it upon himself to start banging on his roof, my floor, whenever he felt I was being too loud, and that's how I know it wasn't me, because he'd bang at the most random times when I hadn't moved from the sofa for over an hour, or sometimes like 4 a.m. when I'd been in bed for hours. My boyfriend knocked on his door a few times, but he never answered. This is where it gets creepy. I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, to be completely honest, so I never thought much of the weird noises I heard in that flat. I was living in a building with 7 other people, after all. In hindsight, my boyfriend said some weird things in his sleep too, but he sleep talks random nonsense regularly anyway. Despite me not believing in ghosts, I do find it super interesting, and I have a Ouija board which I occasionally try out. One night my boyfriend and I decided to use it. We'd already used it once before in that flat, but nothing happened. This time, however, it did. Mostly it was moving to random letters that made no sense, but I was still feeling a weird vibe. The candles kept flickering, which I know sounds weak, but I just had a really weird feeling about the situation for some reason. So naturally I ask you. Oh, anyway, the board says Findme. Find me. So naturally I ask, where are you? And it says WESHID. Sorry. BODY. Wes hid body. Like an absolute idiot, I read that as Weshid body and hastily concluded that the board was talking nonsense and said goodbye and turned the lights on. To be completely honest, I was getting really freaked out. I thought I could hear things moving and I didn't want my boyfriend to see how creeped out I was because he believes in ghosts and I'm always super skeptical about it. Only afterwards, sat on the sofa, did I realize it had actually been saying Wes hid body. When the realization hit me, I told my boyfriend, whose reaction was, "Oh, I see, very funny, nice try." To this day, he thinks I was pushing the board and played dumb to make it seem realistic. But I wasn't. Out of curiosity, I tried to look up local murders or disappearances, but I couldn't find anything. I also can't find any social media for Wes or anything of interest about him online. I managed to find out his real name. I still don't know what happened or why the board said that. I'm convinced there's a logical explanation, subconscious movements maybe, but it freaked me the hell out. On a side note, how fuming would that ghost have been at me sitting there saying, "Weshid body"? That makes no sense. I moved out of that flat a couple of months ago. Not gonna lie, I have not used the Ouija board since. Alright, we full sent that story. My mom has spirits that follow her anywhere she goes and can see them. I personally can't, but I can definitely feel presences. Yeah, I feel like reality is a strange thing. Obviously. Sophie, DK95. I absolutely love listening to your voice. Always helps me feel calm and relaxed. Thanks so much. Keep up the great work. Hugs from Denmark. Thank you, Sophie. I appreciate that. I do. I am glad that I can help people feel like people talk about helping with their anxiety and stuff, and it does make me feel a lot better. Because that's huge. You know what I mean? I don't know, people feeling anxious about various things, and sometimes they just need something to work through that. Unfurled Adam, if you check your Discord DMs, I have up an explanation on how to appoint a moderator. Awesome, thanks, Unfurled. I will go ahead and do that after the stream today. Sorry, just getting some water. Potato Plant says, do you have any scary or just in general out of the blue subscriber stories? I actually listen to your stories while playing video games, not masturbating. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Brianna, you may not be a nurse anymore, but you're still helping people. I know. I appreciate that. It's good to know, nursing is a tough profession. Nursing is tough in the sense of it's I would, say I was here with you guys, we're having a good time, we're chatting, we're yada yada. It's awesome. And all of a sudden you have to go to work, and when you get to work, it's 30 minutes later, the responsibility of 6 or more people and their health concerns and literally everything in between is now sort of semi-resting on your shoulders, and what was not your responsibility or issue 30 minutes ago now is. And for me, it was just difficult as a male nurse, where I feel like commonly amidst the at least my demographic and area in which I did nursing, everyone was really good. All the nurses were good, but for the most part, I've come to find that most male nurses tend to be a little bit more patient with individuals. Axeman finished a big project today. That's actually sick. We're working on part 2 of 2-sentence horror stories, so prepare for that. It's going to be off the chisane. But yeah, and, I don't know, long story short, the job itself is a headache overall, but I just socially didn't really fit into the world of nursing, I guess, you know what I mean? Overall, I just felt like I was sort of worried whenever I would be there, that I was like, I could, because I would work night shift, and we would, you get hired, and one of the shifts that they would have was like 7 8-hour shifts in a row. So, just imagine working 7 days in a row. Not a huge deal, not a terrible thing, but you're doing it. And then you get off 2 days, and then you work 3 days in a row, 8-hour night shifts, and then you get off 2 days. And then you work 7, off 2, 3, off 2, and you just repeat that. And yeah, night shift is the best shift. But it's just like, when you feel that you're not sort of like gaining any sort of like self-actualizing development as a human being through your job, but you're also spending the majority of your existence at your job, because you get off at 7 in the morning and you sleep, you sleep most of your life, it seems like. Night shift, just like, if you can sleep, during the daytime or whatever. But it does always feel like, say you went to bed at 8 a.m. right when you got home and woke up at like 4 p.m. or something. It's like you're waiting to go to your shift. It's like you kind of like barely have a life when your day finally does come. You got to like switch your sleep schedules back and forth. And I remember hearing that like night shift nurses and stuff like end up living on average like 10 years less than most people, which was kind of scary and sad. And I just wasn't for me, and I'm once again very thankful that the YouTube thing worked out. So all right, so let's see if we can find something about Craigslist for our good friend Jamie here. Beth with the $2 says, request a guided sleep relaxing meditation. Maybe we could do that. That'd be a fun. These streams, I am open to really anything, so maybe we can do like a short guided meditation. I think I have like on my ASMR channel. Sorry, I haven't posted my ASMR channel, but I think I have something on there, like on the first video, sort of like a guided meditation type thing. But maybe I don't. I forget what I have on there. There's like only like 3 or 4 videos. And the reason I did the ASMR channel initially was like whenever my channel was going through changes back in the summertime, I was like, oh, most of my videos are longer. Maybe I can split them in half and just do 2 videos a week, or like 2 recording sessions, and then split them in half and actually have 4 videos total on my YouTube channel, and actually, maybe see more success there because of that. But what ended up happening was I'd make the videos like 20 minutes long, and people weren't really into that. They like weren't watching anything that was like under a half an hour or whatever. But anyways, during that period of time, because I only had to record twice, it actually freed me up, quite a few days there. So I was like, screw it, I'll do an ASMR thing or whatever. And did that for a while, but then I went back to the 3 videos a week thing, and then basically I releasing the videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you just kind of like get mentally drained. And then when it's the weekend here, it's like streams are fun, like, and I know I don't do them super often really at all, but this doesn't really require a whole lot of like mental energy for me in like the editing process or anything, because it's all just like happening right now in the moment and whatnot. So yeah. I'm not sure if I'll get back to the ASMR channel or not. I'd like to, because there was a few things I kind of wanted to experiment with to see if it, I don't know, took off or whatever, but maybe down the line sometime we shall see. Please. Yeah. Do I have a life as a YouTuber? It seems like the same mental strength as being a nurse. Yeah, I guess, you know, being a YouTuber, yeah, I definitely have a life. You know, because I would say the period of time it takes me to make a video, you know, say it's like an hour, we'll say it's an hour-long video, or, you know, 40 minutes to an hour long is like pretty common, you know, for like 10 stories that I read on my channel. And, I would say each video probably takes between like 4 or 5 hours to do. So if I'm doing like 3 a week, you know, maybe that can equal like 15 to 20 hours. So like that definitely probably doesn't sound like much, which I guess realistically probably isn't much. And I feel that sometimes I should just do a day where I just like bang out all 3 videos in like one day. But yeah, it is just a little bit kind of mentally exhausting. Definitely not as much as nursing, but just you know, once you get one video done and get it all uploaded and get situated, like basically in my free time I'll finish a video and then immediately kind of break up my day by going to the gym, where I kind of like reset, come home, eat and shower and all that kind of stuff, and I play way too much Overwatch and just like listen to nonsensical political jargon all day. Nerf this. Yeah, gym, eat, home, eat. Yep, pretty much. Gym, eat, home, eat, YouTube, eat. I play on PC. Well said. We wouldn't leave animals in this list, would we? I mean, I guess, yeah, my cat doesn't really require a whole lot of it. He's a good, I mean, obviously he's always there. Wherever you're at, he just follows you. But yeah, cats are definitely low maintenance for the most part. What rank am I? Elo. I am actually a gold player. I watch so many streams and I feel like I get pretty good, but just like, the thing about Overwatch is just that, like, if you're solo queuing, like, and especially if you, because I mean, it was the first game that I got into using mouse and keyboard, and it actually didn't take too long to get used to it and get pretty decent at it. But like, I sometimes kind of wonder if I made like a new account, how, you know, maybe how placements would happen, because a lot of your placements for the following seasons end up just like sort of a lot of your placements end up just putting you back exactly where you were, you know, in gold again. Hello from Lindsay in Ohio. I love your videos and they help me with anxiety and depression. They also help me sleep. That's thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate that. Do I have any social anxiety? It's something I struggle with all the time. You know, my social anxiety, I guess, varies. Like, I'm definitely not like when I go to the gym or, you know, go to different places, like, I'm not like afraid, I guess, to go there per se. I'm not necessarily like always like looking forward to, yeah, peopling, going and being a human being with other human beings and stuff like that. Like, it's not the worst thing ever. I'm actually a pretty sociable guy in person, but I'm one of those individuals who like sort of like feeds off of energy of other people. And so like one thing that I get frustrated about going to the gym sometimes is that, like, say you could chat with an individual and have a nice conversation, or whatever. And then I don't know, like if especially like I interact with like college age individuals, and their level of maturity tends to fluctuate between like being very social or not social at all, or it's like, you know, depending on how they're feeling, that day or whatever. And so you can chat with them, have a good time, and then all of a sudden you see them the next time and it's like, they don't quite they're just not as social or not want to talk at all, and kind of and then because the person that I've interacted with before suddenly seems as if though they're distant, I sort of like also end up putting up that wall of sorts, so basically, like I said, I just kind of like feed off of energy. So but if I meet someone who's just like, really energetic, really like wants to chat, wants to talk, like I feel like I'm pretty good at like meeting them at that level, you know what I mean? And it's tough for me to like be the like engager all the time. Like it's just kind of, I don't know, it's difficult, if that makes sense. Swedish Man Films. Hello, me again. What stories do you like the most? I really like the paranormal ones. I just like them because they're weird and different, and make me look at the world from like a different perspective. The ones with like the creepers and stuff, I definitely think they could happen to me, but I being like kind of just like a male, a typical male who's probably not going to get like creeped on. I just don't have the fear of experiencing that quite as much, I guess, but I can definitely appreciate people that do end up there. Axeman says, let's read, you sexy pants son of a gun, you can engage me any time of the week. Yeah, no, like I love, like Axeman, I love, me and him met a group of people in out in Massachusetts area and stuff, and I love Axeman's energy. It gets me excited to be a human being and laugh and stuff. I was met a lot of people from like the Boston area, and they just there was no, like, I'm sure that it fluctuates depending on the day or the person or whatever, but it seemed like the general consensus in Boston is like, fuck it, let's fucking, I want to say words to you right now. I got fucking words to say to you. That's not very good Boston, but Joel, become part of the antisocial club. I definitely am getting there. I'm slowly easing my way into that, where I'm less and less likely to try. But I'm also open to new things as well. I don't know. Have you played the Resident Evil 2 remake yet? I have. Yeah, I was playing it yesterday, and in all honesty, I was actually going to stream. I was actually going to stream the Resident Evil, but it was just like there was all these different settings I had to mess with, and I'm not a very good like knowledgeable streamer, anyways. And I was just like, screw it. Maybe we can just read stories. Okay, now I've been blabbering on forever about Welks with the $10 says, sup dude, glad to see the stream. Absolutely. Thank you for the donation. I notice older people are more social because younger people depend on people over the internet for socializing. I would agree. Over time, it seems that, and I'm kind of in this weird transitionary generation of the sort of millennial sense where we have a reliance on internet, but we also have like maybe, I don't want to sit there and generalize a younger generation or anything at all, but like maybe because we were maybe up until like middle school, high school, we were separated from the indirect communication of Facebook and Instagram and all those kind of things. It sort of like spared us to a certain degree the pain that is, developing social skills and that sort of thing. I like developing my philosophy towards interacting with people is just like, you just gotta say fuck it. You really do just gotta say fuck it, because there's people's judgments of you. I've said this before, but also thank you, Emily, for the $10. Great stream. It's making my lazy Sunday way better. That's awesome. Thank you. Emily's a awesome Patreon. She supports me on Patreon, and she's always saying super positive stuff. So thank you so much, Emily. I appreciate that. But when it comes to interacting with people, it's like, think about yourself. You think to yourself, okay, when I judge someone, say you pass someone on the street in your car and you look at them and you're like, man, their coat looks stupid, or something. Or, man, they look like an idiot. You think those judgments in your head, but they don't really follow you too far. They last for maybe like 10 seconds, and then you're on to the next nonsensical thought through your brain. That's how I feel, you know what I mean? Like, I pass judgment quickly, and then I don't care. If someone were to ask me like that night, they're like, do you remember that judgmental thought you thought about that silly boy in the coat? And I'd be like, no, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. It essentially is just signifying that if you have a short attention span or memory when it comes to your own judgments on other people, imagine how short their attention span or judgments are on you, and how, if your judgments are so worthless and pointless and nonsensical to pass on to other people, even when you have them kind of uncontrollably, just naturalistically, as like an ape creature, you just think something like, oh, there's a threat, there's a person, there's a this and that. But it's so pointless, it just comes and passes you like a leaf in the wind or whatever, or even like a breeze. Those same judgments that you worry about that you're going to receive from the general public, it's the same way. It passes by them instantaneously. So at the same time, don't just when you're interacting with someone, just think to yourself, I'm interacting with myself. They have the same insecurities, they have the same judgments that they pass, the same nonsensical BS goes through their head just like me. I have nothing to be afraid of. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, really the only thing you have to be afraid of is physical threats, I would say. You know what I mean? So if someone seems like a physical threat to you, consider maybe keeping your distance from them. But for the most part, I would say probably about 99% of the population, at least here in the United States, are relatively friendly individuals. So, and if you put yourself out there, I would say probably 99% of the time, another individual is going to reciprocate that positivity back to you. So, it's fuck it, dude. You know what I mean? Fuck it. I don't know if you ever watch Ice Poseidon. He hasn't been streaming lately, but he's a really funny person to watch on IRL streaming, because he does not give a shit. He does not give a shit. He goes up to anybody, says anything, and if they say something to him or are rude to him, he's just like, fuck it, dude. I'm moving on. I'm on to the next thing. And it's just like, you don't have to have that ADD mentality, and you can have a certain level of tact, but like, most of the judgments that you feel from other people are most likely just your own internal judgments on yourself. And like, just let those go. Those are silly. Let them shape you into a better person to treat others better. But if they're bringing you down, if your internal thoughts are bringing you down, just let them roll off your shoulder, forget about them, and just focus only on the positive stuff. Okay. Axman says, I've spent a lot of time in my life in terror of being judged. Then one day, that switch just off. Now I'm goofy to absolutely everyone, regardless of the looks they give me. Yeah, if you want to be inspired, you should interact with Axeman. He's in our Discord and stuff. But he is a guy that whenever I was seeing him interact with people in the Bostonian location and area, like, people admire people who don't give a shit, because it makes them feel comfortable. And if you can make someone else feel comfortable right out the gate, like, you're already in a power position of making yourself feel comfortable, which is pretty sweet. If people don't like the way you look, they don't have to look at you. Yeah, that's Allison. That's how your mom raised you. That's a good advice to give. That you really don't. Just be yourself, and if someone doesn't appreciate it, they don't have to be near you. Okay. I wonder if I have any of Craigslist stories. Okay. Yeah, let's see this one. This one's called The Craigslist Killer. Fucking Boston, dude. Fucking Boston. Boston. This happened when I was about 8 or 9. I wish I knew more details about what happened because the memories are sort of a blur to me now, and my mom doesn't like to talk about this. My mom used to work at a gym as a Zumba teacher. Because of that, my mom, brother, and I had free memberships, and we would be there pretty much on a daily basis. All the employees at the gym were very good friends with each other, so my mom was close with a lot of them. One of her closer friends was a receptionist at the front desk who was named Danny. Danny was your average 20-something-year-old guy. I remember from all the times he would sign us into the gym that he was super nice, and he had a wife and 2 younger kids, about 5 or 6 years old. One day, about 2.5 years after she had first gotten her job at the gym, my mom picked me up from school crying her eyes out. We had some struggles with money due to some family issues around that time, so I thought this was normal because of all the stress she was under. When I got into the car, I asked her if she was okay. She said no and asked if it was about the money, being the nosy little child I was. What she told me scared the living shit out of me and still gives me a chill down my spine when I think about it. The previous night, Danny was expecting to receive a PlayStation from someone on Craigslist. The owner of the PlayStation had exchanged numbers, so when he saw his phone go off and a car pull up next to his condo, he went outside with the money to buy it. His wife was in the kitchen making dinner, and his kids were playing in their rooms. Danny told his wife he was going to go outside to pick up the PlayStation and hurried out the door. The car had tinted windows, my mom told me, so he couldn't really see who was inside. Danny went up to the passenger window, and whoever was inside rolled down the window. In that moment, there were 2 very concerning things in this car. There was no PlayStation, and one of the 2 people inside was holding a gun. Before he could yell for help or call the cops, the man with the gun demanded that Danny give him his money. He handed over the money to him instantly. After he received the money, the guy with the gun shot Danny in the chest numerous times, and he and the other man in the car drove away. I don't know exactly how, but his wife and neighbors found out what happened and called the cops. Danny's body was found in some bushes outside he and his wife's condo. An innocent man who happened to be both a husband and a father to 2 young children was shot dead by 2 scammers from Craigslist over $100. My mom was devastated about what happened, and for about 6 months after the shooting, my family would sometimes bring them dinner. My mom and Danny's wife would talk in the living room for a couple of hours while my brother and I played with the kids. The kids had never really processed what had happened. They just thought their dad was on vacation, and that still to this day breaks my heart. It's been about 7 or 8 years since this happened, and we lost touch with the family and all the gym employees about a year after the shooting, when my mom quit her job. I did some research a few years later and found a news video of what happened. I'm glad the killers got caught and are now serving their time. This is honestly such an old memory to me that I made sure to research it, even to make sure it was real. But I talked to my mom, and she confirmed what I wrote about above, and the article mentions the information on the actual killers. That sucks. Yeah, I guess I read that story in the past, but yeah, it's really scary to think, like, what people will do. Alright, so, if I'm reading this correctly, you have to hover your mouse over one of my messages, then on the right side there should be some options, and it should be there. Don't quote me on it. Oh, look at that. Add as moderator. That's pretty ballin'.
Unfurled Adam is now a moderator for your channel.
Read my 15-year-old stalker story 6. Oh, Little Biscuit, where do I find that story at?
Little Biscuit,
Please, little biscuit, where? Sorry, my throat is like so sore. Like sometimes reading really catches up. Reddish Fox, did he say yes or no? Don't donate. Don't donate money for the face reveal. I just don't want someone to donate money and then not be able to do shumpshing. All right, I'm gonna read Little Biscuit's story here. Cold water helps sore the throat. Biscuit, should I read it in my voice or should I read it in maybe like a Fox British accent? Let's see. Mickmock says, "Have you seen Cryotic's read-alongs?" I have seen Cryotic's channel. Cryotic is a great man. He seems like he's got a great voice. I'd like to know what microphone he is using and steal it from him. Being on servers online can lead to a lot of unwanted attention. I'm a part of staff team on a lot of servers, weeding out potential trolls or just people who are looking for something we do not provide. One afternoon in October, we get a new member in the server. She went by Terrence. That isn't her real name, as people make up screen names to go by for privacy reasons. She created her introduction and gave her age, as we have channels for adults to talk more freely without worrying that they might say something wrong in front of a minor, only being 15 years old. I gave her the roles and let her chat in the channel we offered for minors freely. Things started to get weird when I started posting selfies of myself without any cosplay gear on. No wigs, no colored contacts, no fancy outfits, just me. Clarice, is that you? No, I'm gender fluid, and so I flipped from feeling masculine to back to feminine. I have my hair short on the sides and longer up top and stick up to the top of my hair, just so I can have the best of both worlds and feel comfortable. Terrence complimented me. I thanked her, as I would with any other compliment. Yet, she got more involved with complimenting me. A few weeks later, she began to PM me about how she loved how I looked. Again, I thanked her and kept interactions brief, as I felt uncomfortable with someone 3 to 4 years younger than me complimenting me all the time. Then she started to message me every day from 6 a.m. in the morning to 10 p.m. at night. She started to save my selfies and make edits to them, fancying up the look on them and then sending them to me. She started to ask for my Snapchat and my other accounts that I only use for really close friends. I, of course, denied giving it to her. At first, I was weirded out. Okay, odd. I kindly asked not to save my selfies without my permission, and please to not make edits of them, as it was kind of creeping me out. I only knew for about a month, and knew her for about a month, and she's acting like I've known her for 5 years. She apologized and said that she wouldn't do it again. There, that was the end of that. However, a few days later, more staff members on the server started messaging me that Terrence was talking about me to other members who brought it up to them. She had begun to complain to other members about how I wasn't online all the time, and began to share my personal private messages and even more selfies of me that she edited with other people. I didn't give her permission to do any of this, and so I confronted her, demanding her to stop this nonsense before it goes too far. She again apologizes and started to go on about how she was the worst, basically guilt-tripping me into forgiving her. I didn't fall for it, and I told her bluntly, there isn't much of an excuse to the actions you had and with other members either. Those kinds of actions put on a damper on how people see you, and when I know you as a person who does that, then immediately attaches to me, it freaks me out. Now please stop messaging me. Do not have any contact with me anymore. Her response was nothing more than, "Oh, okay, I'm done with life anyways." Then it went even further. She didn't stop, and her messages got more aggressive, saying that I was the reason why she was having an identity crisis and how she wanted to be everything that I was, how she wanted to end her life if I didn't talk with her. I started to get really freaked out, and we got rid of her. We banned her from the server, and I demanded that she would leave me alone. Friend request after friend request came flooding in over the course of weeks. I blocked her each time to get rid of her. She started to join other servers that I am involved in just to get in contact with me. Many of my friends who were on the staff team ordered her to leave me alone and to never contact with me again. She said she was sorry and that she'd try again when this whole thing blows over. I sent my last message to her stating clearly what I wanted to happen in this situation. Are you fucking joking? What part of leave me alone don't you understand? You're practically stalking me now. Let me make this clear. Yet again, I don't want anything to do with you. Leave me alone, you creep me out. Don't ever try to contact me again. That doesn't mean in a few months. It doesn't mean tomorrow. It means never contact me ever again. Nothing happened for months. I was on edge but relieved that it was over. I went on with my life and started college. The relaxation came to a sudden stop one day. I got friend requests on my personal accounts on social media, these accounts that I didn't have linked up to any sort of account I use for business or my animations. She messaged me things that I had never told her. She said that she wanted to meet up at Tim Hortons that was on a main street near my house. She even named the street. I always said I was from Canada, but never gave the province or town I lived in. This was when it got worse. She started to harass my real-life friends to get her in contact with me. Every day, this 15-year-old would harass everybody I knew, including my own mother. She wanted to be in my life, but I wanted her out of my life. And then, it just stopped. Not too long ago did she try to send me another friend request, and I blocked her once more. Hopefully, this situation is done. How old is everyone? Frenzo Gonzalez wants to know. Is your dad a pastor? I don't know if you're asking me that question or who. Alright, we got 19 tomorrow. Oh, happy birthday, Jess. Potato plant, 14. Oh, shoot, everybody's all these different ages. I can't keep up. All these numbers. That'd be funny if the chat was just continuous numbers forever. Alright, let's find a relaxation meditation script for our good friend Beth. Try to do a southern accent. Let's see. Let's hear a southern accent first. Maybe we can. I am 28. My birthday is in June. Different flavors of southern accents.
In Georgia. I live in the Pacific Northwest now. A lot of people where I live think I should have a deeper, more redneck southern accent because of where I'm from, which you're nodding, that hurts my feelings. That's fine. It's okay. I want to let you all know in the fine city of Provo that not all of us sound like extras from the movie Deliverance, all right?
Hee-haw, Skyrim.
And not every child born in this young southern man reading a book. And anyway, who knew there were...
Alright, sorry. I just wanted to... Here we go. How to speak southern.
Someone gets hurt or...
Oh, there we go.
bad happens to you.
Something gets hurt, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just kind of, like, come across things that are, you know, made of alligator skin, and you put it on and make boots, and maybe you could go out back and shoot a gun in the air if like a tornado is coming or something. And pretty much like we only eat down in the South, we only eat biscuits and barbecue, things of that nature. But the trick Venefan says, Joel, no. No, I love the South, honestly. It's a great place, because the food will make you fat because it tastes so dang good. Eat biscuits. I actually love I used to hate with a passion what's it called, Duck Dynasty, but then my roommate watches it all the time now. Like he has like the DVDs, and sometimes just like go through the seasons while he's chilling in his bedroom or whatever. And now I love Duck Dynasty just because it's so stupid. It's just like, I don't know, it's just like so funny. It's just like so funny watching like Psy, because he's just like such a freaking weirdo. Duck Dynasty Stockholm Syndrome. It's the new season. Big Bang Theory. I am not a fan of Big Bang Theory. I mean, like when it first came out, it had like a novel. It was different. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, this is like, they're talking about dorky things. Oh, they mentioned Halo, or whatever. Yay. But then it's just like, you get over the sitcom humor where, they have to freaking like tell you when you're supposed to laugh by adding like a fake audience in there. I'm just like, this is so retarded. And I don't know, the jokes are just, they're all like at a certain pace, and they're all like this kind of like part of within the same lieu of one another. And I almost like get into my head, I'm just like, how did they even continue to write jokes for this? Because I remember it was like still going on and for years and years, and they had like a spin-off. Now Rugrats, yes, Rugrats is something I can definitely get down with. There's a Big Bang Theory video out there where they remove the laugh track, and it's amazingly awkward. I imagine it would be, because it just like, it's weird. It's like, I feel like it's almost like a spell, or like a mathematical, musical pacing or something, that they've like figured out some algorithm to keep you just like entranced at staring at your screen. Like, oh, there was a laugh. I guess I gotta stick around more. Watch the people from Roseanne try to pretend to be nerds. All that was amazing. It's interesting to see Kenan Thompson, who was on All That, is now the longest running member on SNL, like of all time, or so. I don't know if it's all time, but he's definitely still there. The purpose of the laugh track is to tell you it's a joke. The cast waits the laugh track out, then continues without the laugh track. Those pauses are oh, that is funny. They are just like creepy, because they do just sit there and kind of like, kind of like when a stand-up comedian gets a laugh and he kind of waits for a bit, and you would be wondering yourself, like, what are you doing? Why are you just silently sitting there? I guess it's kind of almost like on Family Guy, like that one episode where they almost like do a break the fourth wall, where they talk about the cutaways or whatever, and then it actually shows them like waiting for a cutaway to come back, and like everybody's like hanging out, like shooting a yo-yo or something, or like I think Peter's like smoking a cigarette, and like, what are you guys doing? Like, oh, it's a cutaway, we gotta wait for it to come back. Sean, yes, has asked me, do I watch anime? I watch anime for sure. I used to watch a lot more anime way back in the day, but lately, I don't know, I think I recently, like, I was eating some food and I was like, all right, I'll throw on some Netflix anime or something like that. And I don't know what the freaking show was. It was really funny, because it was about like, they were like, all these fighters were looking for the best fight that they could possibly get involved with, because I guess they've never been defeated before. And this high school kid, he was like a high school kid, but he literally was like more jacked than like a bear. And at one point, this other guy is like a famous fighter, but he's jogging. And actually, like, I remember I put that on my Snapchat one time because it was just so funny. Like, he was jogging, and this guy goes by and has like razor blades in like his elbows and stuff. And then he just like is so quick that he like cuts the guy into like bloody pieces. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is full on anime right here. Have I seen Hereditary? Yes, I actually just let my buddy borrow that movie yesterday, and it is really good. It's really good in the sense that it just makes you go like, just like, holy shit, and at like a lot of different parts. And it's not jump scary, which is nice. Like, I'm just so sick of jump scares, you know? Like, scare me with an idea, or scare me with like, I don't even know, imagery maybe. Like, but whenever they combine like a loud bang, it's like, am I afraid of what I'm seeing, or am I afraid of loud noises? You know, it's like, I think I might just be just as scared going into a movie theater where they just have a black screen and then just play like gunshot noises at like full volume. The Babadook. I have seen The Babadook. It's okay. You know, it was okay. A lot of horror movies kind of get me because they always have just kind of like outlandish endings, and I don't know if that's like part of like horror movie, the shtick of horror movies, where it's got to have some like overarching like metaphorical meaning to it or whatever. But sometimes it's just like, why don't you just end it normally? You know, it doesn't have to be insane. The Conjuring, yeah, The Conjuring 2 was very freaky. I thought, you know, the nun from The Conjuring 2 was very scary. I didn't see the actual nun. I don't know if it was good or complete trash. Yeah, James Wan is pretty cool. It'd be sweet to be part of a horror movie. I would love to like act in a horror movie. That would be a lot of fun. Okay. Oh. So, this story is not safe for work, which I'm sure everybody's excited. Oh wait, we were doing a guided meditation. I'm an idiot, sorry. Creep is great. The Nun was so bad. Do I read horror novels? I don't. Okay. Floating on a cloud. Do you guys want to float on a cloud with me? Can we get some W's in the chat if you want to float in a cloud? Let's do it. Let's freaking float on these clouds. Pass the J and float on some clouds, man. Find a relaxed position. Lying down is best, and get comfortable. First, relax your body. Start at the top of your head. Allow a feeling of relaxation to begin. Feel the relaxation grow with each breath you take. Inhale. Relax your scalp and head. Exhale. Let the tension go away even more. Breathe in relaxation. Feel your face and ears relax. Exhale all the tension. Inhale. Feel your neck and shoulders relaxing. As you exhale, let all the muscles of your neck and shoulders release their hold, relaxing fully. Breathe in, feeling the relaxation continuing to your arms and hands. Breathe out. Breathe out the tension. Breathe in relaxation. Allow your chest and upper back to relax. Please release the tension as you exhale. Inhale, feeling the relaxation flowing through your middle back and your stomach. Release the muscles of your back and stomach as you breathe out. As you take another breath, feel your lower back relaxing. Feel the tension leaving as you release the breath. Breathe in. Oh, there's my mouse on the screen. Whoops. Breathe in, relaxing your hips and pelvic area. Breathe out, relaxing even further. As you inhale, feel your upper legs relaxing. Let the muscles of your legs completely let go as you breathe out. Take another breath, drawing in relaxation all the way down to your feet. Let your legs go limp as you exhale. Continue to breathe in relaxation and breathe out tension. Now you are feeling deeply relaxed and calm. Begin to create a picture in your mind. Imagine that you are floating on a soft, fluffy white cloud. Feel the surface beneath you becoming softer, more cloud-like. Feel the cloud rising out of the surface you are on, surrounding you in its protective support. Soon, you are floating on just the cloud. Let it rise a little further, taking you with it. See the walls and ceiling around you disappear as you float into the sunny sky, drifting on the cloud. Feel the cloud beneath you. It is soft but supportive. Feel the cloud supporting your whole body. Notice each place where your body is touching the cloud. Feel how soft and comfortable the cloud is. It is almost like floating in the air. Notice how the cloud feels. It might be a little bit cool and moist, like fog. Your body is warm, very warm and heavy, and sink into the cloud. It is a wonderful feeling. Start to create an image in your mind of where you are. You might be floating just barely above the ground. You can choose to float wherever you like. The sky above you is bright blue, sunny, and inviting. You are warm and comfortable, warmed by the sun's rays shining down peacefully. And there are some other clouds in the sky floating gently. See them lazily pass by, far above. Your cloud can float wherever you choose. If you enjoy being high up, you can let your cloud rise into the sky. It's very safe, very calming, very relaxing. You are so relaxed, floating on a cloud, supported gently firmly by your cloud, surrounded by the cloud's protective embrace. See the sights around you as you are floating on a cloud. Imagine the green grass below, gently blowing in the wind. The grass recedes further away as you rise into the sky. From here, the grass looks like a soft carpet, the wind creating gentle waves in the grass as if it were water. What else do you see? Perhaps some trees, their leaves whispering in the gentle breeze. You can gaze down on housetops, country roads, hills. From this amazing vantage point, you can see around you 360 degrees. The horizon stretches out in a complete circle around you. Notice in the distance how the hills appear almost blue, slightly hazy. How does it feel to be floating on a cloud? Does it sway gently like a boat on almost smooth water? Does it drift in the breeze? Can you feel the movement as you gently float on the cloud? You feel so comfortable, so relaxed, floating on a cloud. Continue floating on a cloud. Enjoy the sights around you. Up here, the air is so clean. Look up at the beautiful sky. The clouds that were high above you are much closer. Some are so close you can almost touch them. Not quite. Continue floating on a cloud, drifting, rising even higher if you wish. The ground below you looks like a patchwork quilt. Green grass, golden fields, yellow, brown, blue patches of water, rivers and lakes. See the clouds around you. You are even able to look down on some clouds. See the shadows that make the ground below. Can you see the shadow from your cloud? See the shadow drift silently across the ground below. Relax and luxuriate in this beautiful scene, floating on a cloud. You're so close now to another cloud above you that if you reach out, you can touch it. What would it feel like? You can even rise higher still and pass right through the clouds above. Feel the mist on your cheeks as you rise through the clouds. Sudden urge to kill Morgan Freeman. Around you, it is a glorious white like fog. The sun shines through just enough that the white all around you glows vibrantly. You reach for Morgan Freeman, and you grab him by the collar. You rise higher still, suddenly coming through the clouds and into the open, dazzling sunlight shining onto your face. The sky above is brilliantly blue. You can look down on the cloud just past and see the white fluffy peaks and valleys of this cloud below. It looks like perfect snow. Looking around below you, it is as if you are above a land of snow. The sun shines brightly. The Emperor of Cambodia. Why is it that you want to go after him? What do you want to do to him? Lay back on your cloud, floating, relaxing, floating on a cloud. Feel the cloud beneath you, still supporting you smooth and comfortably. Take your cloud wherever you wish, higher, lower, side to side. Drift wherever you want to go. Enjoy the sights around you. You won't have many more sights to see, as you are flying wherever you wish. Continue floating on a cloud, relaxing. Imagine wherever it is you would like to go. Your cloud can take you there. Maybe you want to float above the mountains, drifting above their rocky peaks.
Perhaps you would like to drift along the coast of the ocean, watch the waves crashing to shore. Maybe you would like to float through the city, drifting in and out among buildings, and watch the cars below.
You can travel anywhere you wish. You can look out on forests, the countryside, even your own home. Float wherever you like. Enjoy the sights around you. Enjoy floating on a cloud. You are so relaxed, so peaceful. Now, it is time to return to your day. Let your cloud take you there. Feel your cloud flying through the sky back to where you need to go. Let your cloud lower you down back toward the ground. Float back to where you were when you started this visualization. Let the cloud meld with the bed, chair, or whatever surface you are on. Feel the cloud slowly disappear as the real surface becomes more solid beneath you. Notice now your surroundings. Gradually come back to the present. Feel the surface beneath you. Hear the sounds around you. Become more and more aware and alert. Continue to rest a few moments longer. But open your eyes and look around. See your surroundings. Wiggle your fingertips and toes, feeling your body reawaken. Shrug your shoulders. Move your arms and legs. Turn your head. When you are ready, you can return to your day, feeling refreshed and alert after your journey floating on a cloud. I'm sorry, Pete. You're paralyzed now. You will move when I say you can move. Okay, you can move. It's fine. Do you know Cryo Chamber on YouTube? I don't know. What is Cryo Chamber? I don't know if I've heard of that before. That gave me flashbacks. Oh, it's a music label. No, I should check that out. Is that Cryo Chamber? Is that dark? Actually, is that Dark Ambient? Because I think I do know who that is. Axman says good because I froze mid-orgasm. I thought my head was going to explode. When can we get another story collab with your maker? Probably any time. Just let him know. I'm down. I'm always down. Have I heard of Buckethead? I have heard of Buckethead, the freelance guitarist. Alright, let me gargle one more time here. Have I heard of King Spook or Slapped Ham? Yeah, I know King Spook. He was actually one of the first it's actually one of the first channels to help me out with a collaboration. His voice is good. He kind of talks like this. When I was a kid, I used to growl. Sounded like I just hit a bong. Where's Corpse Husband? We shall never know, man. I think he's doing alright. I don't know if he's like pursuing... Oh, it's horrible. This is torturing your ears when I gargle. I'll put my... Is it too loud or is it just kind of like an unpleasant sound? I am Groot. Do I know who Markiplier is? Of course I know who Markiplier. Yeah, Marky is a good boy. He's been sick. He puts updates on Twitter. Oh, yeah. I did know Phantom Librarian a while back. He was actually similar to my channel, where we were kind of starting out doing the true scary stuff, and he was actually taken off pretty well. Corpse Husband listened to one of Let's Read's guided meditations. He's never been heard from again. Unfurled. I have already subscribed to PewDiePie. We are good. Good in the hood. Am I related to Jason Hill? I don't know who that is. On the 7th of February 2009, the following was posted on a forum and threads about its users' most disturbing experiences. I'm one of 2 janitors in a large apartment complex. My job includes checking up on tenants that haven't been seen in a month due to the fact that to enter or exit the apartment complex, one must pass a security camera at the... what is that word? Porta concierge. What that means is that if a tenant has not been seen in a month, there's a good chance they're dead. Before this incident, I had already found 3 dead bodies. 2 old people passed away from natural causes, and a junkie who OD'd. So, naturally, when the landlord told me to go check on the apartment, rented by a guy in his 50s one morning, I was expecting to find him dead. But when I went in, there was a kind of musty smell. It was pretty faint, so it didn't really seem likely for there to be a corpse husband lying around. I called out the tenant's name but got no response. I went around the apartment looking for him and to see if it looked like he'd been there recently or not. There wasn't much dust anywhere, so it definitely seemed like he was still living there. When I opened the bedroom door, I literally screamed and backed away. There was what appeared to be a mummified woman sitting on the bed. You know, all dark gray, brown, and dry-looking with an open-mouthed grimace with teeth visible, arms positioned kind of awkwardly, and a couple of patches of hair on the head, all naked. That was clearly where the smell came from, but it didn't really smell like a dead body as far as I could tell. Obviously, I'd never smelled a mummy before, so I couldn't be sure. To my nose, it smelled like garbage and cum. Jesus Christ. I called the police. Turned out it was actually not a mummy. It was basically a homemade sex doll, so there probably was a lot of stuff inside of it. I'm not sure what it was made of, but even the police were a bit freaked out when they first saw it. Oh, and the guy was hiding under his own bed and only came out when the cops showed up. I really don't know what to make of that, and I don't even think he tried to explain. That made the whole experience so much scarier because, what the fuck? The guy still lives in that apartment, presumably still fucking that creepy-ass life-size mummy doll. 6 days later, the same user posted a thread about people ringing his doorbell and throwing pebbles at his window every night. He begged people to stop bothering him, explaining that he didn't care what people did in the privacy of their bedrooms, and that he understood the tenant was likely suffering from some kind of mental illness. He also explained that he couldn't just move because his job required him to live in the apartment complex. Others were quick to deny responsibility for the harassment and point out that his location was not public, and that he had never posted any personal identifiable information. Later that evening, he posted another reply. He admitted that it was possible that the one behind the harassment was not anybody on the forum, but that he was certain it was in relation to the tenant and his doll. Many users suggested that it was the tenant himself, which he could not rule out, but considered unlikely because the man barely ever left his apartment. Some speculated that the tenant had convinced his friends to target the janitor, but the janitor insisted that he did not seem the type to have friends. He promised to investigate further, which raised some eyebrows as it now seemed like he had accepted that it could be the tenant's doing after all. Attempts to get him to explain what he meant by investigating proved unsuccessful as he stopped posting altogether. It wasn't until 3 months later that the janitor posted again. He prefaced the post by saying that he understood most would not believe a word of it, labeled him a troll, and promptly forgot that he had ever posted on the forum. In addition to this, he stressed that it would be his last post. He explained that he had broken into the dollfucker's apartment one night with the presumption that the tenant would be asleep. What he found was indeed the man sleeping in bed next to the doll, only the doll was stroking his hair and whispering into his ear with one of its legs stretched out over him. The janitor froze in his tracks and stared in disbelief as the dried-up fingers swept it back and forth. For what felt like minutes he could only observe. Eventually his courage returned and he demanded an explanation out loud. As soon as the tenant woke up, the doll fell off of him as lifeless as any other doll. The janitor repeated his question, raising his voice. The tenant simply jumped out of bed and crawled under it, whimpering quietly. The doll's unmoving gaze was fixed on the janitor, its body twisted in a pose that would be too uncomfortable for any human to endure. Clearly, it was not alive, and he began to wonder whether he had imagined the whole thing. He apologized to the tenant, attempting to soothe him while approaching the bed. He crouched so that he could look under it and speak to him to his face. A crackling noise from above sent chills down his spine. He turned to look over the bed and saw that the doll had moved to a more comfortable position, its head on the pillow and its body straight on its back. Looking under the bed, he saw the tenant was already crawling out from the other side. He tried to get the tenant to explain what just happened, but couldn't get a single word out of him. The man climbed back up on the bed and lied next to the doll. The janitor concluded the post by revealing that he had been in a psychiatric ward for the past 2.5 months after telling the police about what he saw. If he hadn't agreed to be committed, he would have been arrested for breaking and entering. Many users did as he predicted and called him a troll, promptly discarding everything he had posted as lies. Others took him at his word and attempted to explain the incident with increasingly outlandish theories. Hey Joel, let's animate the story. We shall call it The Doll Fucker. On the 17th of August 2009, I was asked to check up on the other janitor as he hadn't come out of his apartment for a month. Over the past half a year, he had garnered a reputation of being mentally ill, and before his disappearance, he had told me on several occasions that he hadn't gotten any sleep, even with sleeping pills, thanks to continuing harassment. The apartment was next to his, but I had never noticed anything out of the ordinary at night, so I brushed it off as being all in his head. I will never forget what I saw when I entered the apartment. My coworker was dead in his bed, with the mummy doll curled up by him, like a lover. It's just Lorraine. Her husband killed himself. She thinks it was demons. Yeah, Axeman, Little Biscuits actually animates as well. You guys should communicate on what methods you guys have been using lately. Why doesn't Mr. Nightmare post very often, and have you done a collab with him? I think I don't know why he doesn't post very often. I think he kind of like lets certain videos kind of ride it out. He did just post yesterday, I believe. He had, he's got a huge following, so he kind of like lets his videos gather views, and basically when you do that, like if you were to post another video, it kind of like will slow down the momentum of the previous video. So this live stream will stay on the channel, and basically what will happen is it will go to unlisted and be placed in a playlist called streams. So if you go to my playlists, you'll find the streams playlist. It should be linked down below as well in the description, and you can get to that playlist. Sometimes it takes a little while for that for the stream to like be updated and stuff, just kind of like be processed by YouTube and all that kind of back end stuff. And it will sometimes if it's longer, it might like say like 2 hours or something, or like it only has 2 hours, but then the remaining time will update it. So this, everybody's kind of starting to slow down, and I do have some prior engagements to kind of get involved with here tonight. So I'll probably maybe just like read one more story and then bounce out. But I do certainly appreciate everyone being here. What will the next stream be? Greetings from Caucasia. I've never heard of Caucasia. I guess the Caucasus. Yeah, next stream. I never know. Now that I'm freer from work completely, I will. I like to stream on weekends. That'd be sweet, but it's tough sometimes. Yeah, Jordan, this is my full-time job now. So kind of taking a risk a little bit with making YouTube my full-time job, but it makes me happy, and I'm just really happy to be doing this with, all the support I get from you guys and stuff. So we going hard. We going hard in this narration shit. Okay, so that was the Moth. Let's see how long this one is. They remind me of hell. Okay, it's not terribly long. So this one's called They Remind Me of Hell. Diary, journal, mental illness, history. Okay, cool. So those are all the categories. Where's my cat? Where is my cat? Oh, he's laying here on my bed behind me. Taking another nap for the 20th time today. Joel is slaying it with the awesome content. Thank you. Yeah, trying to do my best. Yeah, we got some new videos coming out soon. We got soon, maybe I don't know if tomorrow. We'll be on our normal schedule, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time release, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But we got eventually some Valentine's Day stories coming out, so that should be dope. Crazy roommate stories coming out. Those will be sick. Just it's the process of kind of compiling different stories and stuff. Sophie, thank you, Sophie. You're awesome as well. I'm killing everybody. I'm killing it so hard. I've actually killed everyone. Oh yeah, if you guys want to get a shirt, there's links down below. for the Spreadshirt thing. Spreadshirt's kind of weird. It's like, it's kind of expensive, and the shipping. You know, I don't. Obviously, at this point, if you want to get a shirt, it's more just like a fun little advertising thing. You know what I mean? Like, or just, you know, showing your appreciation for just the channel, or if you like the artwork or whatever. But for the most part, I made the like profit margin as small as possible. It's like I made it like $1 because it's like, obviously, you know, those websites that like make custom shirts and stuff, they like charge a freaking arm and a leg anyways. And I should use Teespring. You know, I might switch over to Teespring. I think they do what I didn't like about them was that they did where you had to do campaigns or something like that, where it was like you had to promote your campaign for a period of time, and then they would make the shirts in bulk and send them out. But I'm like, it's so much nicer if people like they want to buy a shirt, not this week, but like 3 weeks from now or something like that. They're gonna buy a shirt, and maybe the campaign would have ended by that point, and then they have to wait around. It's just like, it's nice to just be able to do it at the convenience of the person who wants it. You know what I mean? So, but there's some cool designs on there. If anybody has like any art like they think would be like a cool design, that would be cool for merchandise and stuff like that, you know, definitely, you know, DM me or something, and might be able to add that to the list, which would be sweet. So, January 11th, 2003. I know my time will be up soon. I'm an old man. A very old man. Also, by the way, the following is an excerpt from my late grandfather's journal. He was a veteran of the Great War. I've learned a lot from the contents of this journal, and I hope you can too. I've been around long enough to see the birth of my great-grandchild. I lost my wife, Elizabeth, to a stroke 10 years ago. Ever since then, I've lived my life as a heartbroken man. I've lost my best friend, Rainer Bohm, God bless his soul, a year ago. Now life just doesn't feel the same anymore. Hell, there was a time I couldn't see both me or Rainer making it to the age of 20. Back when we were two young Prussian kids serving the fatherland in the Great War, I have no clue how long I have left to live in this world considering my advanced age. I know one thing though. Hell won't be awaiting me on the other side because hell is at the ruins of Auschwitz Fortress in Poland. Auschwitz used to be a Russian holdout on the way to Bialystok. I'm not going to pronounce these right at all. We tried to conquer it twice without success before Herr Hindenburg took charge. Paul von Hindenburg was a great man, but what he had us do on the third offensive on Auschwitz was a terrible mistake, one that cost thousands of soldiers their sanity. We eventually won the battle over this outpost, but the cost was too great to bear. We've thrown hell at the Russians, and they made us stare its residents straight in the eyes. On a quiet August day, after a few days of battling to a stalemate, we received orders to wear our gas masks and to load our batteries with gas rounds to go along with the conventional rounds. We did this because we knew the Russians had no way to defend themselves against an attack of such a kind. We all knew about the illegality of gas use, but no one cares. All sides were using illegal weaponry. The Great War had no limits to its brutality. Up to this point, I did not know just how diabolical could a gas round be. Now I do. I regret ever getting myself stationed in the front line of that charge. I pray to the Lord daily, begging him to relieve me of my nightmares of that cursed day, but it has yet to have answered my prayers. Perhaps it's my punishment for taking part in such barbarity. I digress. We finished gearing up just before 4 a.m. that day. Rainer even jokingly told me we probably looked like monsters to the Ivans who had no gas masks. I recall the artillerymen being instructed to fire their batteries only when the wind was blowing straight at the fortress. Soon enough, the wind was blowing from our side, and a deafening barrage of heavy artillery roared across the battlefield, masking all their sounds. After the booming sounds died down, I could see a sticky green fog spreading around the fortress. To me, it looked like a biblical plague. Perhaps because of the frenzy of the constant battling, somewhere in my mind I thought we were doing the Divine's work. While I never agreed with the Nazi ideology, I believed in my youth that the German folk was superior to others. I believed God had made us his nation, but now I know better. God had abandoned us when Bismarck passed away. Once the putrid cloud cleared away, we made our way towards the fortress. We were sure that there would be no resistance. We knew people weren't supposed to survive a mixture of chlorine and bromine. It was impossible to survive this cocktail of toxins. This toxic gas destroys the lungs completely, deeming the victim to a fate of drowning in their own blood. And so, Raynor and I made our way through the field of blackened gas with a force of 7,000 other soldiers all around us, marching on towards what we thought would be an easy victory. This was the first and only time I've ever heard Raynor Boehm curse. It was so shocking that I still remember the way he whispered, "My fucking God," through his gas mask as he stopped dead in his tracks, rifle facing forward, shaking slightly. I screamed at him to keep on moving, as I had yet to have seen what he saw before the fortress. He didn't budge. He simply told me to look around carefully. The leaves on top of the trees all around were turning into a disgusting shade of yellow, and the copper-based equipment of the Russians was laced with a thin layer of glowing green, topping made of chlorine. I stared in awe. Oh shoot, I have to sneeze. Sorry. It's the chlorine and the bromine. It got my lungs. I had to sneeze it out. I stared in awe for a moment before I've seen it. A shadow moving awkwardly in the distance. Thank you for the blessings, my friend. My friends. Multiple friends. A shadow moving awkwardly in the distance. It was staggering forward oddly. It was clearly the shadow of a human. Even though it appeared to be shaking and twitching in its upper half constantly, then more shadows appeared. I screamed at the top of my lungs that the enemy was in front of us. The loading of rifles echoed through my ears immediately while a sea of hell spawns formed in front of me. I couldn't believe my eyes as the form of stumbling Russian soldiers covered in bloodied rugs crept up in front of me. I could make out that they were yelling something in Russian between their near-constant coughing and wheezing. I had no clue what, but it sounded very angry. Once they were in my firing range, I could make out the fact that they were covered in their own blood and lung matter. Their faces and hands were covered in burns. Their bloodied skin was falling off as they were charging carelessly towards us. I aimed my rifle and shot. The bullet missed. I was shaking. A gurgling, bloodied, badly burned Russian soldier was on top of me, his bayonet mere inches from my face. I couldn't even defend myself properly. The sight of these walking corpses-like things was too much. I could see the poisonous fumes rising from the Russian's face as it was trying to create new cavities in my body while barking at me through his blood-smeared white rag like a rabid dog. Another one of these deathly freaks was about to stab at me when I saw them both crash to the floor as the sounds of gunfire deafened my ears. Raynor saved my life. He killed the Russians that was on top of me while another soldier, Hermann Schwartz, shot the other one. With my senses out of balance, I aimed my gun at the horde of these dead-defying bastards and gunned a few down. The officers then ordered us to retreat. I ran back as fast as I could. I'm not even ashamed to admit it. It terrified me. A sacred soldier is a dead soul. A scared soldier is a dead soldier, they say. But I was as afraid as one could be, and that's what saved my life. Panic struck a massive army of battle-hardened German soldiers, for they have seen what hell looks like, and none of us could handle the sight. That one sight of a field of blackened grass where the mortally wounded have no regard for their fate as long as they get to tear us apart. Moments after I ran back towards our line, I heard the Russians open fire. I pushed forward even harder, but then I saw Raynor drop to the ground and cry out in agony. A bullet had pierced his back. I ran back to him and dragged him with me. Everything seemed lost when I noticed just how panicked our men had been. They were tripping and falling into our very own barbed wire. The images of my fellow soldiers stepping over the trapped bodies of their corpses still haunt me to this day. The begging and the moaning of German soldiers, the shrieking Russians walking corpses still flooded my mind almost every night I go to bed. I can't look at people wearing a rag over their faces because my mind distorts their features into that of a mutilated soldier covering himself with a bloodied rag. I can't stand drunken folk. The way they walk and stumble awkwardly reminds me of that terrible day. I once snapped at a drunken man in a bar and almost beat him to death by smashing his head into a table repeatedly whilst looking away. Hell, I even smashed one of my own mirrors whilst drunk at home because my stumbling made me feel like one of those things, only to them curl up in a sobbing ball when I noticed the blood on my hand. I have since quit drinking. I remember this little from the rest of that godforsaken August day. All I know is that everything went black after I crossed to our line. The next thing I can recall is me being separated from some blood-covered surgeon at a hospital the following day. I was suffering from what they had called shell shock, and I was discharged from the military soon after on a basis of mental disability. The trauma they used to call shell shock a development of hemophobia and my knee-jerk reaction to loud sounds. All of these had prevented me from taking combative action ever again. In fact, I couldn't even witness the birth of my fucking children. My dear Edmund, Walter, and Emma. They had to watch their old man crumple up like a little child whenever they'd come to me asking me for a bandage their cuts. I couldn't. I just can't. I'm so sorry. I've been brought to tears again by writing this down. If the Russians at Auschwitz pulled themselves from the jaws of death for enough time to terrorize a force outnumbering them 70-1, I understand why the Austrian ape could not beat them at Stalingrad. Now that my story is out there, I can finally let myself pass on. Knowing whatever the Lord has in store for me, it won't be as bad as the devil had put me through in Auschwitz all those years ago. I hope it'll come in my sleep, though, because I cannot stand the sight of masked doctors. They remind me of my demons a little too much. They remind me of hell a little too much. That was pretty good. Sophie, Joel's voice making me choose bad decisions, still worth it. Oh yeah, I'm holding you back from some solid homework. I could just read your homework to you. War stories, yeah. That would be really... And it's cool, interesting to think, too, because if that, were to have happened, I imagine they probably would just say, like, all the soldiers were affected by the gas, and that's what they saw or something, but... read us 50 Shades. I will write the next 50 Shades, and then I'll read it to you. Part 5, or whatever we're on. Well, am I putting myself to sleep? Yeah, like blackout, like, oh, sorry guys, I missed that. What happened? Well, might be hitting the old dusty trails here. I do really appreciate everyone hanging out, though. It was an awesome time together. You guys are officially spooked. That's good. That was the plan. Alien stories. Yeah, we need to get more alien. People need to. I wish they would post some more alien stories or something to the subreddit, or hopefully we can stumble across some more alien stories. I guess we've been going for about 2.5 hours, which is pretty solid. What I should do is I think I have a friend who wanted to kind of promote their like independent novels and stuff like that. I think that would be a good time to maybe even just like give a little sample of that to start out or whatever, and kind of move forward as we go. But guys, I really just want to thank you guys so much for supporting the stream today and supporting the channel. As I told you, this is now like my full-time venture in life, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. This has been such an amazing experience, like starting a YouTube channel. And truly, I saw the other day like Nexpo had posted a tweet. If you guys watch Nexpo, the Nightmare Expo, he's a great channel you should check out. He said about everybody changing his life, you know what I mean? And really, you guys supporting me here on YouTube has absolutely changed my life. I mean, this is what I do now, and this is who I am, and I have so much pride in that, in the sense of like just thankfulness to you guys. And it really does humble you to realize just how far we've come, how far the channel's come, and I'm just never going to take that for granted, and I just really appreciate it. But yeah, guys, if you want to see the stream, or hear some of the aspects of the stream later that you may have missed from earlier in the stream, you can just be sure to go down into the description below. It says all streams will be available to watch on the streams playlist. So if you guys just go to the playlist option on my channel, I'll have this as unlisted, and got the podcast going. If you want to avoid digging into your data on your phone, or you don't have YouTube Premium or whatever it is where you can just like let it run without the screen on or something like that, be sure to check out the podcast. That's also linked down below with Apple, iTunes, and Spotify. Get early access to all the narrations and stuff that we do on the channel Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or I guess that I do on the channel. For $1 you get the MP3 that you can download. Emily was here earlier. She's a patron, awesome person, and she can tell you how much she's enjoyed that experience. If you yourself want to submit some stories, be sure to head over to the subreddit, and you can, reddit.com/r/Let's Read Official, and you can submit your true scary or paranormal story, or if you have a creepypasta that you're writing or a fictional story, you can submit those as well. We were talking about shirts earlier. Feel free to grab a shirt, and also keep up to date when different things on the channel is happening, such as streams and stuff. I usually post about it on Twitter or Instagram. I posted about it just on Twitter today, but follow on Instagram as well. Also, just 'cause it's a good time on there. Post some silly things and post when different videos are coming out. If you enjoyed today's background music, if you're really into that like dark ambient stuff, I just want to give a shout out to Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. He makes a ton of awesome stuff, and that is also linked down below. Guys, join the Discord. That's where the after party for all the streams and all that kind of stuff happens, and a lot of really nice people go there every day and just kind of like support each other, chat it up. We share stories, and of course memes. It's memes all day there. So be sure to click on the link in the description, or if one of the mods posts the link to the Discord, we'd love to have you there. Once again, thanks to everyone who has been supporting the channel through Super Chat and donations. I really, really appreciate it. And be sure to check out tomorrow's video. It will be same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, wherever that is for you in the world. Give you a gauge. And not exactly sure exactly what it's going to be quite yet, but stay tuned. Alright guys, I love you and I appreciate you, and see you again soon.